Hey, what's up guys? This is Cody and I'm back here once again for our classic horror review. And for tonight's review, I'm going to be talking about the 1985 vampire film directed by Tom Holland. This is one movie that I've seen every horror fan have in their collection. It's really a classic vampire film. It's very entertaining and in my opinion it's a whole lot of fun. But the movie I'm going to be talking about is Fright Night. This is the older DVD release, I think, that came out in 2006, I believe. And yeah, like I said, this is a really entertaining movie. I was actually watching this last night with my friends, and it actually got me to think that this would be a good movie to play if you were hosting like a Halloween party or something. This would be a good movie to, put on the TV and have play in the background. It's a really entertaining movie, and I think it has something that everyone will enjoy. Even people that aren't really into horror films, this is definitely a movie that I think anyone will find entertainment out of it. But yeah, so what I'm going to do is give a brief description of the storyline, and I'll tell you guys what I liked about it. So Fright Night follows a 17-year-old boy named Charlie Brewster, who is a really big vampire of horror film fan. You can tell it at the beginning of the movie. He's at the beginning of the movie, he's making out with his girlfriend Amy, and while they're making out, the TV's on and it's showing a vampire movie, and the vampire movie is being hosted by this actor named Peter Vincent. And Peter Vincent is known as the great vampire killer of the movies. And it's funny when Amy and Charlie are making out, Amy looks over to the TV and says, "Oh, Charlie, look, it's Peter Vincent. He's your favorite," or something like that. So you can tell Charlie is really big into vampire films and is a really big fan of this actor named Peter Vincent. Well, Charlie and Amy are just about to make love. And before they do that, Charlie looks out his window over at the neighbor's house, and he notices these two men carrying what looks like a coffin down to the basement. This, of course, starts to freak Charlie out, and he tries to tell Amy that he thinks that the two guys are carrying a coffin. She just thinks that he's just messing with her, and that ends up upsetting her, and so she decides to leave. While they go downstairs, you're introduced to Charlie's mother. And Charlie's mom ends up telling him that there's actually two men that have just moved into the house, or that have just bought the house to fix it up. It was an old house, and it just needed repairs and stuff. Like I said, they're basically moving in. He tries to tell, he doesn't tell his mom right away, what he believes he saw, but Amy ends up leaving, and this leaves Charlie to, of course, be really creeped out. He doesn't know what to believe or whatever. And he's upset that Amy didn't believe what he saw. While he's looking out the window trying to figure out what's going on, a news bulletin comes on the screen, and they talk about a girl that's just been missing, that's just gone missing. But, so like I said, Charlie, he's really creeped out about this. He doesn't know what's going on. The next day, it shows him in school, in the school cafeteria, and he tries to apologize to Amy, and sorry that he kind of freaked her out. Also in the scene, you're introduced to this other character in the film named Ed, who everybody calls Evil. And Evil, he's kind of, I think there's something mentally wrong with him. I'm not quite sure what it is, but he's really hyper, very energetic. He's always laughing, like just giggling, like this entire time. Of course, he's also really big into horror, like Charlie is. While they're in the cafeteria, there's a TV in the cafeteria, and another news bulletin comes on saying that yet another woman has been gone missing. This, of course, starts to freak Charlie out. He's starting to believe that there's a vampire next door. And, of course, both Evil and Amy just think that he's just going crazy, basically. Amy gets angry once again because she thinks that Charlie's playing with him, and Evil, he just thinks it's hilarious that Charlie's acting like this. Well, Charlie, he realizes no one's really going to believe him, so what he does is that he actually gets a private, a lieutenant to come to the house and investigate with Charlie. This is where you're introduced to the I guess, vampire's roommate named Billy Cole, and Billy Cole is basically there just to help the man that lives in the house, take care of it and stuff. Of course, the lieutenant, after talking to Billy, doesn't believe Charlie one bit and just thinks that he's just, out of it. So at this point, Charlie's just feeling very, basically just very helpless, in this sense. Well, as this is, as he's basically just freaking out, he ends up driving down to Evil's house and asking them to help him and stuff. Of course, Evil thinks that he's crazy, but he decides to humor him and start telling him different things to have. Like, Evil has a small little cross that he gives to Charlie. He also says, get garlic, and just a basic thing, garlic, holy water, and stuff. But the main thing that Evil tells Charlie to believe is, the vampire cannot enter your house until you invite him in. So of course Charlie goes back home, and when he walks in, his mom is talking to someone, and it turns out that she had invited the neighbor over. And that's when you're introduced to Jerry Dandridge, who is the man that Charlie believes is a vampire. And Jerry, he's a very, I guess you could call him elegant. He's very well dressed. He dressed in suits, and he's very pristine, I guess you could say. And so I think that I'm sure that's the wrong way to describe him. But like I said, he's very esteemed. He's very polite to his mom, and he's talking to him, and he says, I think I'm gonna be coming around here a lot more, with your mother's permission, of course. And of course, this absolutely just freaks Charlie out completely. Well, of course he tells his mom that he believes that Jerry Dandridge is a vampire. She still does not believe him, and at this point he's feeling very hopeless. That night, Jerry comes back to Charlie's house and basically almost tries to kill him and tells him that, if you tell anybody about me, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to kill your mom. At that point, Charlie is feeling just completely helpless, until he looks at the TV and he sees Peter Vincent once again talking about vampires, and Peter on the screen, on TV, tells him, and I believe in vampires. I believe that vampires are out there because I've seen them. And that gives Charlie the idea to go to Peter Vincent and ask Peter Vincent to help him kill the vampire. Now that's as far as I'm going to get with this movie. Now I'm going to talk a bit about what I liked about it. Now, like I said, this is a really entertaining movie. It's not any way scary at all. It's more of just a fun vampire film. A good movie just to pop in. Like I said, if you have a lot of friends over and just enjoy watching. It's a pretty long movie. It's 108 minutes long, but this movie does not drag at all. Actually, there's something going on throughout the entire movie from beginning to end. Something even happens within the first 10 minutes of the movie, so there's not a dull, boring moment throughout the entire film. The acting is really great, especially Chris Sarandon, who plays Jerry Dandridge, of course, the main vampire. Like I said, he's very esteemed and he's very sly, I think is a good word for him. And he doesn't talk a lot in the movie. He's mostly just a silent guy. He uses his wit and his looks to get what he wants, and you can tell. Now Charlie, I also really liked his character. He just seemed like this down-to-earth 17-year-old who just loves horror films and lives with his mom in a small neighborhood and with his girlfriend. And I really did enjoy his character. But yeah, I also liked Evil Ed's character. Like I said, I don't know what's really wrong with him, but I know that there's something mentally up with him. I like his room. When Charlie goes into his room to ask Evil Ed for help, he's got strange things on his walls like fake skulls and stuff like that. And yeah, like I said, the acting is really great in this. There's not a lot of gore in this. There's only a few scenes of gore in it. I'm going to try not to give anything away, but there's one scene where a character is transforming from a werewolf back into his human self, and the transformation scene looks really, really good. Like I said, this movie was released in the 80s, so all the effects are practical, and the scene when like I said, the transformation scene of the werewolf turning back into a boy looks really good, and it doesn't cut away. You basically see everything that's happening, and it looks really good, I must say. The effects are really great. There's a couple of other gory scenes, but other than that, this movie is pretty bloodless. So yeah, if you have not seen Fright Night, which I'm sure a lot of horror fans have, but if you haven't, I definitely recommend this one. It's a really fun, entertaining horror movie. This is also a good movie to watch if, you know, with friends who are not really big into horror. This is one movie that's really fun just to pop in and enjoy. You know, and like I said at the beginning of this video, if you're hosting a Halloween party, this would be a good movie to pop in, because it's a really, like I said, really fun, entertaining movie. You know, fun all the way through. The acting's great. I also really love the soundtrack to the movie. The theme to this movie is really, really cool. So, yeah, guys, that was my review of Fright Night. As I've always said in these videos, if you've seen Fright Night, definitely let me know what you guys think about it. Leave me a comment down below, or you know, if you have a review of it yourself, I'd love to see your video review of it. Just, like I said, leave it down below. Thanks everyone for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this review, and I will see everyone next time. Later.